Hi, this is Mr. Max with Sankofa Mathematics. It's been a while, so let's hope we can pick this up again. So I have a question here for those of you who are in grade 12 and you are following the AS level and you are using the y equals mx plus c to success textbooks, then you will find this question on coordinate geometry. Okay, so let's get down to it. So they say in the diagram, points A and point C lie on the x and y axis respectively, and the equation of AC is 2y plus x. So this equation here of this line is 2y plus x equals to 16. Well, maybe you can also rewrite it as 2y equals to minus x plus 16. Therefore y equals negative 1/2 of x plus 16 divided by 2. That gives you y equals negative 1/2 of x plus 8. Okay, so if that is the case, then here the point for this y-axis, this is the point 0, 8, because it cuts the y-intercept at 8, as you can see. All right. Something else also, we can definitely also calculate what is the coordinate of point A. So we have y will be 0. So if we can also then use any point here in order for us to find the value of A, well, we can just go ahead and say we know the equation. You can play around with that given equation. So I'll take the other equation in order for me to find the value of x, whether I take y equals minus 1/2 x plus 8, or whether I take 2y plus x equals to 16. For me to find this particular point here, I'm going to say, well, y will be 0 plus x equals to 16, therefore x will equal to 16. Okay, so I can actually complete those points there. I could have used the same scenario by making x to be 0 in order for me to find the y-intercept. Well, I just rewrote this in this form primarily because I am looking for this gradient, because this gradient is going to help me to solve whatever questions are coming. Okay, B has the point 2, 2. The perpendicular from B to AC meets at x, and we have to find the coordinate of x. So first, let's write down what I have so far. So what I have so far is I have the equation y equals to minus 1/2 of x plus 8. And why is this so important? Well, this is important because the perpendicular bisector here from B to C, okay, there's something about that gradient there. So the gradient b to x, so we'll just write here that the gradient of b to x will equal to 2, because perpendicular gradients, when you multiply them, give you a product of -1. So now that we have that, what does it leave us with? It leaves us with us to find the equation. Remember, we need to know what is the equation of this line bx here. So it's like y equals to 2x, the gradient, but we also want to know what is going to be the y-intercept. All right, so in order for us to complete that, we have a gradient, we have a point. So once you have got a point, and the point in this case, the given point is our point B, which is 2, 2. Our point B is 2, 2, and we also know that the gradient of bx is equal to 2. All right, so I hope you're familiar with the equation that I'm going to use. In order for us to find the equation, we will say the gradient is 2, one value of x, and it's very important that you kind of remember this formula. So you have x minus 2, and then going to equal to y minus 2. Okay, so if you are given 1 point, you can use this formula. Hope that you still remember how to get to it. Okay, right, so we can multiply out in order for me to find the equation. So that's going to be 2x minus 4 on this side. and that's y minus 2, and then y will be on its own, so it's 2x minus 4 plus 2. So this equation is y equals to 2x minus 2. Right, so I can actually go back to my diagram, and I have the equation y equals to 2x minus 2. Right, so now I have two equations. I have this equation here, I have this equation here. I can actually equate them in order to find the value of x and the value of y. Okay, right, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that over here. So we're going to say the equation that I have, 2x minus 2 equals to negative a half of x plus 8. I equate these two equations in order for me to find the x value. Okay, terms containing x to one side and terms containing the constants to one side. That's supposed to be a half x. Right, 2x plus a half, that gives you nothing but 2.5. Alright, 2.5 is nothing but 5 over 2x equals to 10. Well, 5x equals to 20 if I multiply by 2, and that gives me that the value of x then will be 20 divided by 5, and that's equal to 4. So now I know what is the x value of point x. So the x value is 4. In order for me to find the y value, the y coordinate, you need to substitute in any one of the equations. So I'm going to use the equation y equals to 2x minus 2 in order for me to find the y value. Or again, you can also use the equation y equals to minus a half x plus 8, and you then just simply substitute this answer for x in any one of them in order for you to find the value of y. Okay, so using the first one here, so that's going to leave me with y equals to 2 times 4 take away 2. Well, that's 8 take away 2. That will give you 6. You'll get the same answer here. Negative a half of 4, no, negative half of 4 is negative 2 plus 8, where you're also going to get 6. Right, so at the end of the day, point x is the point 4, 6. Okay. So use your diagram and then you can work from there and you will not struggle with anything. Okay, the next one they are saying point D is such that quadrilateral ABCD has a line of symmetry. Now, it's very important that you understand what where I'm going with this. So the distance from B to CA, this distance here, will be the same distance as it would be wherever our point D would be. Okay, so we will just say let point D be like x comma y. Right, so what is this distance here? Well, you have to look at the x value. So basically going from using the x values here, I have got 2 here and 4. So I will be saying that the vector from B to X, I'll take 4 minus 2. Okay, and I do the same for if I want to find the vector of X to D, because remember they will be equal. Okay, so from X to D, I will be saying, okay, that X point will be a little bit out, but it will be the same distance as X minus 4. So just make sure that you are with me and you sort of don't get lost over there. We just correct my brackets here because I am working with vector. Of course, I'll also show you the drawing of this. So the same what I did with the x distances. So that means from this point up to here. So let's perhaps bring in a different color. So the distance from here up to there, the x distance, you can see it's 2, where I get it from, and that's going to be the same distance for x, so there has to be 2 again. That's why I say 4 minus 2. Then the y distance should be the same. When you look at the y distance, this is 6 here, so 6 minus, so we're now talking about the vertical distance, 6 minus 2, which is this distance here, this distance over here. So whatever that distance would be, it should be exactly the same distance over there. So 6 minus 2 would be the same as this y minus this value here, which is y minus 6. Well, we can sort of simplify this now. So that's 4 minus 2 equals to x minus 4. Well, that's 2 equals to x minus 4. Well, 2 plus 4 is equal to x. Therefore, the x value is nothing but 6. Now, we can also use the same logic when we want to calculate the y value. So when I calculate the y value, it's going to be 6 minus 2 equals to y minus 6, right? And that's 4 here equals y minus 6. And therefore, y will be 4 plus 6, leaving me with y equals to 10. So that is our point D here. So let me just write my point D in so that it can be much clearer. So this is going to be my point D. So wherever my D point is going to be 6, 10. Okay, so look at the diagram that I have here. Of course, I have a diagram here, so just going to make it a bit smaller so you can see what I did there. So my point D, what I was referring to, the distance B to X, that distance over there. So you go 2 units to the right, and then you go 2 units up. So you have to be 2 units to the right, and also 4 units up, 4 units up, 2 units to the right. That's what I mean by the vector from B to X, which should be the same as from X to D. Okay, right. Also, you can see from this drawing that we are dealing here with a kite, so to speak. Right, so the next part now, part C, they say find correct to 1 decimal place the perimeter of ABCD. Right, so what is important for you is remember the formula to find the distances. So from C to D, for example, it's going to be, you have to use Pythagoras, can you see? Because now you have got that right angle triangle here, right? So you need to find whatever this distance is. In this case, it's going to be 6, and this distance here is 2. So it's like you're going to say 6 squared plus 2 squared, all right? And that's going to give you, well, that's 36 plus 4. That gives you the square root of 40. So that distance is going to be the same over here, because if you also take this right angle triangle, you're going to get the same. So this distance here will be the square root of 40, and this distance here will be the square root of 40. Okay, because you can see that's 8 and you can see that's 2. Right, so we're going to use then the same logic when we find BA. BA would also be the same as DA. Okay, so when I want to find the distance of B to A, well, I also have to use my 16 over here. So I'll say B to A equals to, well, it's 16 squared plus, and up here it's 2 squared. Okay, so that is what I have here. If you were to talk about this right angle triangle, so that's 256 plus 4, and that gives you nothing but 16. My goodness, let's just correct it. It is not 16 though, because the distance from there is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Okay, so that would be 14 squared, which is 196. So this distance would be the square root of 200 over there, and this would be also the square root of 200. So the perimeter means you just have to add all of that together. So worked from the diagram there, but if you don't have the diagram, then you know you have to find BC, which I showed you. Now you know what point B and C is. Point B, basically point B, our point B was the point 2, 2, and our point C was the point 6, point C is the point 0. It's there on the y-intercept. Point C was our point. Let's continue. It's been a while, so let's see. Our point C is the point 0, 8. Okay, so that's why you see I take the exchange in y over the exchange in x. So take my 2x value, subtract them, take my 2y value, subtract them, and then I find the square root of that. That's the same with a, and remember our point A, when we calculate it, it's the point 16, 0. All right, so we have this. So the perimeter, now we are not done. So when we're trying to find the perimeter of ABCD, the perimeter is going to be 2 times the square root of 40 plus 2 times the square root of 200. Okay, well, they said you must give the answer to 1 decimal place, so let's grab the calculator. So you have 2 times the square root of 40, go out there, plus twice the square root of 200. That gives me that number, which is 40.9 to 1 decimal place, 40.9 units, right, to 1 decimal place. Right, so I hope it was helpful, this question. Just remember, you need to work in the diagram. You need to be able to understand what is it that you are doing. All right, another thing worth mentioning, all these movies, oh my goodness, I said movies, all the videos that I do from time to time takes a while for me to work on this platform, but I'll try my best to upload as many videos as possible. Maybe you should also think of, supporting the channel in some way or the other. Get in contact with me. You can see my email details if you really want to know, so that help me to improve the channel, help me to find ways and means that I can perhaps upload more if there are some things that you would want me to do for you. You can contact me at this email address. Now, I know it is horrible, so I'm going to type it. I'm going to type it in the description. Okay, I'm going to type it in the description. Okay, so that was it as far as that question is concerned. But I'm going to type the description. I'm going to type my email address on this description below the video for you to get in contact with me, find a way to support the channel so I can upload more.